Interesting.
Yes, I do. And then the last topic is going to be Rafael Nadal. He came back to Barcelona. Nobody expected him to do so. He tried to go to Monte Carlo, couldn't do it, but he made it. He had a hitting session with Rublev, and even Stefano Tsitsipas was saying he's the favorite to win Barcelona. After that hitting session with Rublev, even Rublev was all, wow, he's back. He played his first round match, and he looked pretty solid. Obviously, there's gaping technical stuff that I'll talk about in a bit. But what did you see in that match?
Things you're probably going to dig into in a moment here. But I watched both his first round and his second round. And in his first round, his strokes looked good. I liked how he was opening up the court. I liked his forehand and backhand. I thought his movement wasn't bad as far as court coverage goes. It didn't look that bad. The serve.
Right.
The serve was a big issue for me. A really big issue. I think that his serve is weaker. I think that he's struggling to coil and explode into the ball. And so we're seeing a lot more of like a slicey lefty serve of like a guy ranked 400 in the world. I hate to say that, but it feels like he's going to be fighting a lot harder than he ever has before to hold serve. We're going to have to see a lot of breakbacks. We're going to have to see a lot of accuracy. And I don't know if you're going to be able to cut through on the tour at this point in time without having either a really high kick serve or a really big serve on your first serve at the very least. That was my biggest issue and concern.
Well, he really didn't depend on a kick serve for the most part. He always sliced it to the backhand and then just started the point.
Yeah.
But it is concerning because normally he jumps up into his serve, but right now he was more doing of a walkover serve.
Yeah.
And to get pace on the ball, he would toss the ball in front a little more to try to get pace. So that's a little scary.
Yeah.
Especially since he doesn't have that type of curious live arm like that. And the other thing is he is known for torquing his body on the forehand, but now he's not torquing as much right now. He's more dipping the shoulder and brushing up a little more instead of torquing. He is getting I think, just as much topspin, maybe not.
It looked like it in the first round.
Right.
It did.
But are you concerned that he's not really torquing into his forehand, or do you think him dipping is good enough?
I think the forehand he's hitting is good enough. I think it works. I think against 95% of the tour, it will not take away from his success rate. For me, it's just the grind of working off of a serve that has less pop, less spin, less action, doesn't move as much, and then having to turn everything into offense all the time. It's not that he can't win games that way. It's that it's going to be more taxing in the big picture when you're playing a best of 5.
Right.
So I'm a little worried for him.
Yes. And now we just mentioned Christopher Eubanks on Tennis Channel said Rafael Nadal should automatically be seeded top 16 at Roland Garros. He probably made that statement after his first round.
Yeah.
Because he probably rescinded that statement after. But let's just go with the first round.
Yeah.
Do you think he should get top 16 seed at Roland Garros?
If we have a committed statement from Nadal saying this is his last French Open, I wouldn't complain. I would love the opportunity to see him get a draw where he can win 2 or 3 matches without concern. But if I'm a player on the tour, I do not want to see him get a free seeding. I don't want to see it. And between me and you, Roland Garros is not a place that would typically do that. Such a drastic bump up into the rank or the seeding. But anything's possible when you're a man who's probably going to have a statue there.
He does.
Yeah. I mean, stadium named after him. He's the face of this tournament. He is this tournament's embodiment. And if it's his last one, I would love to see him get the opportunity to get a few easy rounds, work his way in. And we've seen when he's a top 3 player in the world, how tough some of his draws have been at slams. So with that being said, it would be nice to see him catch a break.
Yeah, especially this one.
Yeah.
Yes, so, excuse me. So now his second round match, de Minaur, 5-7, 1-6. he looked as if in the second set he just ran out of steam. And that is a little worrisome because if he struggled in a 2 out of 3, what's going to happen in a 3 out of 5?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts there?
I have some mixed emotions. Based off of what we know about Nadal's personality, I think that he gave everything he had and he just didn't have anything left for that match. And I think that as far as stamina and conditioning goes, I don't think he's going to have problems once Roland Garros is here. But if this was an injury thing where maybe his body broke down a little more into the second set, that's a big, big, big red flag. But on the flip side, and this is, I don't actually know Nadal as a person, and I don't know if this is a mindset he would have. Maybe he did go, okay, this is a guy who's coming off of a number 1 player in the world victory a few weeks ago, and let me see what level I can reach against him. Went down 5-7 and said, okay, I can play at that level. And then maybe he went, time for me to back out and relax my body, get some rest, and prepare to play a few more events before this Grand Slam. If that's what his mindset was, he looked great.
Yes.
He played a relatively high level outside of working too hard on his service games.
Right.
He looked pretty good out there. He did go against a guy who's just a difficult matchup for him. De Minaur has a very good scrappy on the run backhand that does not let Nadal's forehand open up the court as well as he would like. And De Minaur played out of his mind. He hit some pretty crazy slap shots.
Well, he did a running forehand a la Nadal.
Yeah. So, to De Minaur's defense, De Minaur played high level the entire match. So, this match did not shake me up or worry me, but I wish I knew more about where Nadal's head is at. Did he give everything he really had, or did he go out there and try to sharpen the blades and prepare for Roland Garros? I'm not sure which it was. Now,
De Minaur even said after, in the post-match interview, he said, 4 years ago, I wouldn't have touched Nadal. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he said that, and I'm glad he's showing respect. There's no way in this universe De Minaur takes out Nadal on clay in the last decade. So, congrats to De Minaur, who is, I think he deserves to be in the top 10, and I do think he's a great athlete. He's not in the universe of prime Nadal on clay, though.
Right, agree. And now the big question is the next tournament. The next one most likely is going to, not most likely, will be Madrid, then Italy. To me, if I were him, he's done very poorly in Madrid. Obviously, he has slams, but compared to Italy, Monte Carlo, that's where he's done really well.
Yeah.
But the altitude really bugs Nadal. I would preferably, if I were him, maybe do Italy over Madrid. Or is it too much for him to play Italy and then Roland Garros back to back?
They were consecutive.
Yes. What are your thoughts? Do you think he should play Madrid?
You know, I actually like the idea of him playing Madrid for my own personal selfish reasons. I think that him going to Madrid means less match play on court, less time on court, which is better for the body. I think that it sets him up to have lowered expectations. He goes, okay, I've won this tournament less times. I'm less likely to win it now. And that will give him an opportunity to get out there, tune up a little bit more, prep for Roland Garros, and get out of there within 2 or 3 rounds.
Yes.
Versus, wandering into an event that he's won countless times, and now there's a little more pressure to perform. The crowd there is insane if he goes to that event. And then have essentially no rest time going into Roland Garros. I don't like that. So, I like Madrid for him, selfishly. Okay. I don't think he will accomplish anything going there, but I think it would do him more favors for the big picture.
Actually, that's a good point of view. I didn't think about that, but yes, he hasn't won there a lot compared to the others, so there isn't really a lot of expectation to begin with. So and then he could take a break, practice a little bit, and then go to Roland Garros.
Yeah, I would love to see him get out there to Paris bright and early, 2 weeks before his tournament starts, and just acclimate, adjust, do recovery, prepare the body, prepare the mind, and go into Roland Garros feeling fresh. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, he likes to say die a lot. He says, and then I'm willing to die at Roland Garros.
And you know what's funny? That ties into, I hate to backtrack a little, but that ties into why I think maybe he's not giving everything to these current events, because he uses lingo like, I'm willing to die at Roland Garros. he's not talking that energy at these other clay events.
Right.
Which tells me he's not willing to die at Barcelona. You know?
Yes.
He's out there to hit the ball, see some fans, get tuned up, and prepare. These are prep tournaments for him. They're not put your whole heart on the line, samurai style, die on the court. Roland Garros, I'm expecting him to, no matter what his body does, he's going to play through.
Right.
Which is kind of what we saw with the Australian Open against Medvedev.
Right.
What we saw at the Indian Wells versus Taylor Fritz. Nadal falling apart physically and fighting through. So I would love to see that Nadal at Roland Garros not getting destroyed playing too many events prior.
Now, he did say that he was happy to play Barcelona because most likely this was his last time in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So this is most likely going to be the last time at Roland Garros. Which brings me to the last part. How well do you think he'll do at Roland Garros if he were to play?
Give him the 16 seed. He rests his body correctly and doesn't go to Italian Open.
Yes.
And guaranteed third round.
Okay. Maybe he'll play a 32 seed type player. I think he may make the fourth round, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be luck of the draw from there. We can't afford him to run into Tsitsipas, Casper Ruud, Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz. He's got to stay out of those lanes to the quarters.
Right. And
if he draws who's in the top 10 right now that I had these names in my head yesterday. If he draws
Rune, Sinner.
A Holger Rune, maybe a Sinner, maybe. Even a Dimitrov. You know,
Okay.
some of these guys who are not pure clay specialists, you know, there's an opportunity there, you know, and I think he could do well. But I don't like him getting matched up with guys who are very high-level performing players that are more fit and healthy on the clay in a Grand Slam best of 5. I don't want to see him there.
Yes, his ranking's so low, he may draw the big names such as that. But if he doesn't, and he's able to avoid a couple seeds here and there, a la Raducanu, when she won the U.S. Open, he can make a fourth round.
Yeah.
Yes. So, is there anything else you'd like to add?
That's it.
All right. In that case, I hope you guys were entertained.
Adios. ATP. Like and subscribe.